Oh, that Baby Shark song can kick all the rocks.
I can't believe I moved next door to a furniture maker. Buzzsaws all day, every day, Sarah.
Oh, good Lord. Well, I ate an El Pastor burrito last night, Heather, and I liked it.
My cat attacks me about 8 times a day. It's a real good time.
I bet it is. Have such a good day. Oh, hello, world, and welcome to Have Such a Good Day, the show that wants you to do just that.
What's up, guys?
I'm Sarah Larn.
How's it hanging?
You're Heather Frank.
I am Heather Frank. That's me.
Or perhaps
Heather
you're trying
K.
to-
Frank. I'm not going to tell you my middle name, though. It's a secret.
I know what it is.
Oh, that's because we flew together and you had all my information.
No,
you basically
it's
you
because
could
I've known
steal
you
my
for
identity.
Like 35 years.
But if you wanted to, you could steal my identity. Because you have like my social.
I don't think
you have my
knowing your
TSA
middle name
number.
actually helps me steal anything of yours, but sure.
All right. Well,
All
I'll
right.
make sure to stay on your good side.
Okay. Cool.
So this is the show, Sarah, if you have forgotten,
Right.
where we
Tell me, why am I here, Heather?
we like to unpack the absurdity of everyday life for your entertainment.
That's right.
Our collective entertainment, really.
Yeah. It's one part's ha-ha, another part maybe a little sobbing, and a third part good sort of almost therapy.
Yes, definitely. For at least us.
For us and
At the very minimum.
and anybody who wants to be part of the wall ride.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's cool. So today's bonus topic I would like to plug real quick comes from Stephen Mullinax. Thank you, Stephen, for submitting this. You get a gold star. So anyone who actually pitches a bonus topic, I will give you a gold star because it helps a lot. So Sarah, you and I inherited millions of dollars from a long lost relative. But in order to collect it,
nice.
you must first spend $1 million to make our dreams come true. How would you choose to spend the money on each other? Ooh. So like let's just say I spent $1 million on you and then you spend $1 million on me. Kind of fun, right? I know.
Yeah, I mean, this is a complicated answer.
I know it kind of is.
It is.
I know. So many things. I'm like, shopping spree? Like, I don't know. But anyway, you will have to wait till the end of the show.
Because the point is to know the other person enough to know
Exactly.
what to spend money on.
Oh, totally.
Because I'm like, shopping spree, oh my God, I hate people. I don't want to see them.
Yeah, no,
like,
totally.
Please don't give me
You're
that.
like high-end sportswear, like $1 million
high-end
worth.
sportswear from my living room without seeing a human.
Pretty much. We can buy it all online. This is going to be fun. So tune in later in the show, but you won't be able to hear our answers unless you are a $5 or above Bala on our Patreon.
Correcto.
We'll talk a little bit more about that later.
We absolutely will. But for now, we are going to discuss, unpack, whatever you want to call it.
Weeks.
All sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
Usually Heather and I start with, what's been going on with you since I saw you 1 week ago. I
know you missed me terribly.
I did. I feel like I saw you just yesterday. So
Great.
in the best way possible. Heather is always in my,
Always in your thoughts, I know.
in my thoughts and my general periphery. But so I've come to a weird conclusion about Otis the dog.
Do tell me.
So Otis the dog he's very sweet. He's, very gentle. He's a very sweet, adorable, wonderful dog. He kind of doesn't like other dogs.
Okay.
He doesn't he's not mean to them.
Yeah.
But he pretends that they don't exist. Like he's sort of like a horse with blinders on.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe he is literally blind, like he can't see other animals.
I think he wants to play fetch. It makes him comfortable. He doesn't like the other, like dogs barking, like he'll look at me and be like, what are they doing? And I'm like, I don't know what they're doing. They're
That's very
weird dogs.
interesting.
Yeah. But I don't think he likes other dogs.
But he likes humans.
Oh, yeah.
And cats, because he lives with two.
And he loves kids.
You know, this is interesting. I had a friend come over with his dog the other day, and he has a Chihuahua Terrier, so like a very small dog.
Mm-hmm.
And it was actually kind of interesting to see my cats react to him. For some reason, he's a really gentle dog too. Like he's not an asshole at all.
Yeah.
But for some reason, Charlie freaked him out, and Charlie's a black cat. Ziggy's a very like blonde cat, and
Yes.
him and Ziggy were like
Very
getting
true.
along really well. But my friend was telling me that he has always thought that he can't see black, and so I think Charlie like came up to him and it like startled him because he's had other experiences with other dark animals that he thinks he can't see. And he also has like, he's an old dog, so he's starting to get that like foggy eye thing.
Glaucoma, whatever.
It was sort of sad though, because Charlie was being so sweet, you know, like he's cool with other animals, and he was like wanted to be his friend, and like he surprised. His owner was surprised. He was like, "Wow, I can't believe how upset he is," and I thought that was sort of interesting.
You know, anybody who follows me on Instagram knows that I go on and on about how much I love my cats and my dog, and everybody's the most beautiful, and they're just the best. However, there are some times where I'm like, I don't even know what's going on with these like weird creatures. Like they're annoying. You know, they howl. They're pissed off at me for whatever reason. They eat my clothes and my shoes.
Wouldn't
all
that
of
be
these
great
things.
if they could talk? And then you're like, "What? Are you on the rag today, dude? Like, what is up?"
Right?
I mean, I'm sure animals, they have bad days too.
And yeah, it's
They have to be part of this world. So
yeah, it's a whole it's a whole back and forth. But I do I don't know. I guess I just, you know, my weekly check in on with have such a good day for everybody is like just my zoo, just trying to, you know, keep it together.
Oh, I know. Tell me about it. I'm, speaking of, because I was going to talk a little bit about my cats. We won't belabor this, but speaking of spoiled brats, mine really are too. And I don't know what it is. It's like if, you know, it's like they're either begging for food, they're begging for play, they're begging to go outside. And it's pretty much most of the day, unless they're really sleeping, taking a nap, they're just bugging me. Like they're just like me howling and meowing, and just like, and maybe it's because they're spoiled, because I am very attentive. I'm an attentive pack mother, as someone told me recently. And you know, that's cool. Like I'm okay with that, but I don't know. I would like a little respect and a little appreciation.
So
But I'm probably not going to get it.
I mean, what happens if you like squirt them with like a spray bottle?
It makes them more agitated. I've tried. Yeah. They just, it's like, that's the problem. It's different with dogs. Like you can kind of train them.
Yeah.
But cats, they're really tough to train. You have to be very careful if you yell at them, or if you like, they take all that in. You have to be just really like chill and careful. But anyway, enough about pets. Maybe we talk about our pets too much, but it's always very interesting because they're like part of our family, you know?
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my God, man.
Oh, man.
All right, so I wanted to, this is a bit of a heavy topic, but it was, as of this recording, quite a big story today. And this is the sense that Facebook, you can almost sort of swap in any social network for this, but let's call it Facebook for the purposes of conversation. Facebook paid teens, and when I say teens, it means anyone from 13 to 35. So the headlines say teens, but like 13 through 18 is a teen. That actually is.
Maybe
right?
even 19.
Facebook paid many tens of thousands of people to install a VPN that spies on them. When I say VPN, VPNs are very often used if you're in France and you want to watch a show that's geolocated in LA, like you'd use a VPN. So
yeah, like we used to use it, like I think at Tech TV or something, where you had to get on a server that was remote or like.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah. It's a way to potentially fool an ISP into not knowing where you are.
Okay, so why
Doesn't
did they
mean
do
you
this?
have to do that? Well, because
And why would they agree to do it?
Well, that's a very good question, Heather. It's a little weird. Facebook is going through a PR nightmare of sense.
Yeah, pretty much.
When it comes to, what are you doing with, political stuff, people who might be underage but still have the ability to, get have an account, even though you're not supposed to if you're under the age. The whole thing. So, this story is. Let me see if I can think about it. Okay. It's actually like kind of hard to explain. So
it's really technical.
It is. So Facebook has now come under fire for paying people between the ages of 13 and 35 to install a VPN that would spy on them. And when I say spy, it means look at all of their Facebook activity for $20 per month.
Okay.
$20 per month. Think about that for a second.
Okay.
Like, when you were 13, maybe you would want $20.
Sure.
But like that's an insane amount of money.
So they just want to get data, and they're
Exactly.
paying people for their data.
Exactly.
God, I feel like they could afford more than $20 a month. I mean, especially for the older people. Maybe they should scale it depending on your age.
And that was, when the story sort of came out earlier, it wasn't so much that, okay, Facebook wants more data on its users. Like, we all know that, whether you, are fired up about it or not is, it is somewhat relative. But to give a kid access to a data point that you say, like, no, we'll pay you. You'll get $20 at the end of this. And a kid, again, who is not like, well, like you're not like 5 years old, but you're still a child. You're very much a child. Your parent is not telling you this is okay. You're not going through any sort of rigmarole that has to do with anybody who might be in charge of the I don't know.
I'm assuming parents have to sign off on this.
No.
What? So they just reach out directly, like on the that's crazy. Wow. So what's the upshot? Like clearly it's a little shady. People are upset about it.
Well, yeah, it's shady. People are upset about it, and the whole thing has been shut down.
Wow.
Yeah, because like you said, you're like, oh, parents would be part of this. No, parents were not part of this. It's very troubling.
Yeah.
That any company, and we use Facebook as an example because I think, I don't know, it's Facebook, whatever. Like,
they're an easy example.
but they're an example of what a lot of social networks all deal with. You can't. Well, you can. You can't do stuff like what I just described without parental consent.
Yeah.
Without people getting very upset later on. Like,
totally.
What are you doing?
That's crazy.
Yeah, like my 13-year-old was like part of your like VPN experiment.
I'd be curious to see too, like how was their ad? Like when they like reached out to these kids, like they sent them a message. Like what kind of message was it? Like what did it say? What did it propose? It's interesting. Well, it's funny. I have sort of a similar, I guess, sort of a just a bone to pick, I guess.
Okay.
So
Right.
So the government shutdown.
Also,
Yeah.
where did bone to pick come from?
I know, I like
Let's
that.
talk.
I
That's
love
one
these
of my,
expressions.
It's one of my favorite ones, but like, what is?
It's
Who
even
picks a bone?
I don't know if it's better than hell in a handbasket, but I do like bone to pick.
But like
a bone to pick. Yeah,
right,
we
like,
got to look that
what
one up.
bone? Where are you picking?
Someone
So
from like the
weird.
17th century came up
Yeah,
with it because it was
probably.
like a bone sticking out from some crazy plague. And then it was like, I'm sure because hell in a handbasket has something to do with like body parts in a basket during the war and like just like so gruesome. Anyway, my bone to pick is, so 35 days of this government shutdown. During this time, you know, a lot of these, national parks have been understaffed.
Yeah.
One in particular that's not that far from here, and it's a wonderful, magical place, is Joshua Tree. A lot of you are familiar with it. It's those kind of Seuss, Dr. Seuss-like trees. It's a really kind of special ecosystem.
Cactus-laden.
Yes.
Yeah.
Scorpions, like the whole 9 yards.
Ugh.
Well, so Joshua Tree in particular had very few workers during this time. And so a bunch of idiot vandals thought it would be fun to go mess it up. So basically, trees were chopped down and run over by cars. Gates were broken. People off-roaded and like made new roads with like illegal like off-roading cars. Garbage was strewn everywhere. And apparently, because the ecosystem is so fragile and that Joshua trees apparently only grow like maybe like an inch or so a year, they're very, it's a very, very delicate ecosystem. It takes to replant and to grow Joshua trees is like quite an undertaking. And scientists are saying that it won't bounce back. The ecosystem won't bounce back for like another 100 years. And it's just, I just want to discuss this. Like, who would do that? I feel like, I was in the weeds of like the New York Times article, like the comment section. And it was neat to see everyone was very upset. A lot of people had, so much to say. I mean, one comment from a woman in New England said, if we cannot care for a tree, how will we care for one another? And it's so true. It's like, what is happening to our world? It's like the disrespect for nature. It made me so angry today. I just wanted to I wish I could run them down, and cut them down like they did the trees. They should get the same treatment, I
know.
Anyway.
I actually, it's a little bit of a tangent, but I think it matters in the context of what we're talking about. I have some good friends, people who I love and respect, and they are hunters. I am not.
You're definitely not.
Oh. And I don't want to ever do that or be a part of that. And I'm not even really saying like I renounce your lifestyle.
Sure.
I can't do that.
Yeah.
And I won't. But there is a certain part of me who's like, who can do that?
That's what I'm saying. It's like they're like another species or something. It's like how such the human decency, like I know there's a lot of angry people out there that don't care about nature and don't care about animals, and it saddens me. Anyway, that's all I have to say. I just was really upset about it today and I wanted to share.
Oh, Heather, you know what?
I'm a real tree hugger.
Sometimes we do get upset about stuff.
Yeah.
We do. Hey, so speaking of getting upset, I'm actually sort of laughing about this entire thing, is that Google Plus. Remember Google Plus?
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah, I started a profile kinda and didn't follow through with it.
Exactly.
I found it to be pretty lackluster.
So back in, let's call it 2010-ish.
Yeah, ish.
I think. Google came out with a sort of Facebook, Twitter-ish clone that was supposed to piggyback on the fact that we all had Gmail accounts. We were all sort of in this ecosystem already. Let's, use this as a place to be as social as possible, whether it be updates or articles shared or photos or videos or
work-related stuff. Yeah.
All of it.
We already had Facebook though, so it was sort of tough for it to get off the ground, I think,
and it's funny. I remember I was working at Twit at the time, This Week in Tech, and I remember Leo asking me, do you think this is cool? And I was like, I think this is cool. Because what we had at the time was, Facebook was annoying, and everyone was annoyed with it.
And it
but-
wasn't super work focused. I think Google Plus seemed a little more work focused.
Yeah, and it was LinkedIn existed, but maybe not in the capacity that
Google's just cooler. Like it has a cooler vibe to it. You know, like
well, we thought it was at the time.
We did.
Heather.
I know.
But Google Plus did not end up panning out as a social network, and
It sure didn't.
It will be shut down to the public this month.
Wow.
R.I.P.
Are people upset about it?
No.
Yeah.
Well, sure.
I'm surprised it took them this long to take it down.
People are, but like, it's like if Twitter was like, we're shutting down our platform, like people would riot in the streets. Like I would like take the own skin off my body and like, you know, like it would be like.
Do you still love it that much?
The end of my life. Well, it's Twitter has its uses. I do not go to Google Plus for anything.
I mean, it
Not
just
really.
seems sort of useless.
Well,
I wanted it to work because I was a fan of it initially, in theory.
were you?
I was, but you know, not everything can succeed like our show, Sarah. Speaking of, real quick, patreon.com/have such a good day is where you will find us and our myriad of fun tiers. Please take a read. In fact, we're brewing up some new ideas to just like shake things up. So please go there and let us know your thoughts. There's a comment board and we want to hear from you. And that's it.
For anybody who's like, fun tiers, what's going on? If you go to our Patreon page, patreon.com/have such a good day, you'll learn a lot more about how the Patreon model is sort of
Ad free.
It's ad free,
Community-based.
and how many ways that Heather and I think we've been very clever in putting together fun little tiers for all.
Well, actually, I will say someone is cashing out on the big ol' nachos tier, which is our. It's
kind of a big deal.
It's kind of a big deal. We're literally going tonight to have our first nachos. Someone has come out from another state to have dinner with us, and we're going to have margaritas, and it's going to be super fun. So if you would like to partake in that, feel free. I mean, we can eat nachos till the cows come home.
Feel free. It's not actually free.
But we take care of it. We're going to pay for dinner. You just have to get yourself out here, pretty much.
Get yourself out here.
Yeah.
And also, who does not like a good
good
nachos?
cheesy nachos
Are
and
you
some
kidding
like.
me? I mean, not to get too into the weeds about where we're going, but like, I am ready to throw down. My stomach will be.
Oh yeah, tomorrow we're gonna be
expanded.
5 pounds bigger.
I will 5 pounds.
10 pounds.
15, or you're not even trying. Come on.
So Sarah, I realized that both of my stories today, and kind of yours too, are about basic human decency and common courtesy.
Yeah.
Because I want to talk a little bit more about ghosting, and I know we've talked about this before, with their friends or a person they're dating or potentially a professional contact with zero warning or notice beforehand, and like they just don't respond to you. They just disappear. They ghost like a ghost. They're transparent. They just go away.
So ghosting, would we be in agreement that ghosting is 100% rude?
I would say that very good question, because there was a psychologist on the show, and the only thing that I would say would be maybe somewhat of an exception. And this is a conversation I had with my friend Allison the other day, because she was telling me some stories about her dating life. And she was like, well, I noticed so many times that I forget that there's like a text message hanging down below and I forget to write back because, people are overwhelmed by their social media. They get too many emails. And sometimes you just are like, I can't write back. Like, it's too much. So
yeah,
that's the only exception I feel like, is like, okay, you're overwhelmed. You don't have time. So you just sort of like shut down. Okay. But yes, 99% of the time, I think that, it is, the thing that bothers me more than anything, honestly, is it's just general common courtesy. It's very disrespectful. I think that I feel disrespected And I don't get this so much in the dating world, but I've gotten it a couple times recently professionally, and I'll tell you the story. So there's a family friend of mine who I went to a family event over the holidays, and he's a very, he's a economics professor at like UC Santa Cruz or something. And he was just all over me about getting me a job at Netflix and hooking me up. He's got a, big connection there. And he's the one that brought it up. I wasn't asking.
Yeah.
Gave me his business card. I mean, all night, it was like 5 different times, make sure you email me when you get home and we'll get this going, whatever. I emailed him a month ago. Never heard anything.
Ugh.
I emailed again a week or so ago. Radio silence. It's like, don't do that.
Yeah.
You don't need to help
gush.
Me. Yes.
To gush
the gushing
over
drives me
something
crazy. And
that
then
you're actually not going to follow up on. Like, okay, maybe you're just in a mood, but like, don't do that with people's livelihood.
Well, and it's like, I think for me, it's like, okay, so maybe you shouldn't take it personally. Like, who cares? It's their loss, whatever. You can spin it in that way. However, I do think it's it makes me feel like I'm not respected. Because often all you have to do is write a one-liner. Hey, I'm so busy right now. I want to discuss further, but can we talk at the end of the month? Or I don't care. Like, just don't ignore me.
Right.
That to me feels like the ultimate.
Yeah.
I
like
think that's
a text
worse
being
than
like,
anything.
Lost both my legs. Check in 2 weeks.
Now I feel bad.
I'd still be like, okay, all right.
Exactly.
You got 2 weeks. Like, you got other shit going on. Like,
exactly.
It's not that we don't understand that people go through things or maybe are too busy or whatever, but like, yeah.
And the other side of things, so like so basically the psychologist is like, all right, a lot of people are insecure. They don't want to confront. There's a question maybe that has been asked that they don't want to answer. They don't want to deal with because they're afraid of confrontation. They're afraid of what that might. So that is a little bit interesting too, because maybe the person it has nothing to do with you really. They just don't really have an answer, and they're like afraid of the reality of it, to face the reality. Still, I think it's a common courtesy. It's like being kind to your neighbor, throwing your garbage in the garbage can, not destroying our national parks, not hurting animals. I mean, it's like a normal thing. Anyway, I thought it was interesting, and I'm continually interested in the psychology behind it.
Yeah.
So that's that. But you know what? I'm going to flip the script on myself.
Okay.
And I'm gonna not care, and just be like, it's your loss. So just screw
Heather,
you.
Well, I know you way too well that there's no way you'd just be like, I don't care.
I know. I'm so
care.
sensitive.
No, it's good. It's good. That was a really good, I don't know, explanation of.
Thanks, man. I've been thinking about it.
I think that, something that a lot of us are trying to kind of
wrap our head around.
Pin down. Yeah, exactly. Wrap our heads around and, understand that life is really fucking difficult, but there are things that you can do to be a better person.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's not that hard.
It's really not that hard.
And when you're not that person, I'm sort of like, well,
and I have to say,
my friend?
And I have to say, I have had more times than not where I've had wonderful, good colleagues and friends and people go out of their way for me,
sure,
and like believe in me, So it's like it's only like a small section of my of I guess the people that I know.
Yeah.
But I'd be curious if you guys have any, I don't know, sort of experiences yourself with ghosting. Email us at hi@havesuchagoodday.com. I would love to hear what you guys have gone through.
And before we go on to our next topic, which is for our $5 ballas, I have ghosted people.
Yeah.
More than once. It happens.
As long as you don't ghost me.
Well, I'm not going to ghost you. Also, you know where I live, so, I mean.
I know how to get to your back porch.
You can't.
And I know where your bedroom is.
Exactly,
so
exactly.
I'm going to turn on your fire alarm.
But, like, it's sort of like, it's kind of, okay, so this is this is a conversation we'll unpack more at some point, but it's sort of like someone saying, well, have you ever cheated? Mm-hmm. Well, yes, I have. I don't think it's cool. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I don't do it now, but it's happened. Mm-hmm. It's sort of like the ghosting thing. Like, it's not a great look.
Sure.
But people do it. I was about to say we all do it, but that's not fair. Some people do it because of lots of reasons that have nothing to do with how cool that other person is.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
And you know what? I agree. And I would like to mention one more thing is that I think that sometimes it does make sense when, let's say you went on a date and you didn't feel anything. There was really no, you didn't really have any history. It's just like one date. Maybe there's a person who wasn't a good person.
Yeah.
Totally ghost them. That's fine. Like maybe they were mean to you or whatever.
Right. Like
there are certain scenarios.
Like, you don't owe somebody that you don't really know.
Exactly.
Anyway,
exactly. I get that.
Something.
When there's nothing invested, maybe it is easier because what are you going to say? Yeah, it was nice to meet you, but I didn't feel a connection. That might be more hurtful. So in a way, if you break it down, like what's more hurtful, like silence or like a convoluted explanation.
Yeah. There's like that rogue ghost time that works.
Yeah, totally. I really do think that in certain like low level like dating, it can be acceptable. Anywho, all right, Sarah. Well, gosh, I think it's time. It's nacho time. Almost. We get through our bonus topics. So if you want to jump on the bonus topic bandwagon, go pitch some $5 on our Patreon.
Yeah, and if anyone's like, what did Heather just say? Don't even understand your crazy moon language. That would be
I'm a moon person.
Patreon.com/have-such-a-good-day.
And click the $5 tier.
Yeah, so
and you'll get all the bonus topics.
We are community supported 100%. That's a really
pretty cool.
Something
pretty
that
cool.
we're very proud of.
Oh, yeah.
And we hope that will continue until the
end of time.
The end of time.
Until episode 5 million.
The end of time, which might be, I don't know, 6 months. Hard to say.
It is hard to say.
World might end, Heather.
It's very true.
But for everybody else, we have had such a good day, and we hope you have as well.
And stay warm in the Midwest. We're very concerned about you. And stay cool in Australia.
Yeah.
Climate change is crazy.
Stay warm, stay cool. I'm sorry I'm wearing a t-shirt.
Stay awesome.
In January.
I know I'm like bundled up and Sarah's like, yeah, man. I'm like warm-blooded. She's warm-blooded. I'm cold-blooded.
You look very nice, but like it's like very hot outside.
Oh no, it's kind of cold.
All right,
I think.
Well, all right, everybody, we're getting out of here before it gets weirder. I am Sarah.
And I'm Heather.
And have such a good day.
Later.